What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Wednesday, April 7th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter, at Josh Engleman. Did I honestly just forget my actual Twitter handle, which is only my name and something that I say in this video every day? I absolutely did. At Josh Engleman, so you can get updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We round out the bottom of my top 10 with PJ Washington, Jason Tatum, Christian Wood, Marcus Smart, and ALEKSEJ POKUSEVSKI. He's on the outside looking in. Who will be the favorites, the top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up, we're taking a look at shooting guard, and we're going to Bradley Beal. If he plays, 8,300. He just keeps being out, but for some reason the price tag is just too low. So 42.5 fantasy point projection. The goal is 51. I think he's in the optimal lineup 24% of the time. At some point in time, Bradley Beal is going to come back, and in games past, they don't normally have Bradley Beal out for a bit and then ease him back into it. Scott Brooks just throws him directly into the fire. So I gave him 34 minutes. That's a 1.25 fantasy point per minute rate against an Orlando team that is absolutely decimated. Slight pace down spot for Washington, but the lack of talent for the Orlando Magic will probably win out here a little bit more than pace. We're talking 34% usage, 29 points, 4.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, maybe a steal, maybe a block, who knows? Doesn't matter because he's 8,300 at shooting guard. If Bradley Beal is in this game, don't overthink it. Go straight back to him. Next up at number 4, we're going to the point guard spot to my preferred pay-up option, $10,300 Luka Doncic. Projected for about 53. The goal is 58, and he is in the optimal lineup 25% of the time. We're talking 34 minutes, a 1.55 fantasy point per minute rate. I think we see Kristaps Porzingis back here. I don't think it matters all that much for Luka. 36% usage, 29 real points, 9 assists, 8 boards, a steal, a pace-up spot against a Houston team that is clearly not very good. Luka should carve these guys up. The only question is, does he do it in like a lower gear and not care all that much? It's possible, but that's not what I'm super worried about right now. If I am spending heavy salary in that 10K range, I am going directly to Luka Doncic. Next up at number 3, we're going to the point guard spot, but only spending $7,400 on Terry Rozier. Now, he is projected for 40. The goal is 48, and he is in the optimal lineup 28% of the time. We've got no LaMelo Ball. We've got no Malik Monk, and now we've got no Gordon Hayward. So Terry Rozier goes from a 1 fantasy point per minute guy to a 1.12 guy. 36 minutes, 30% usage. He gets all of the ball now. 26 real points, and then you're hoping for extra stats. 4.5 boards, 3.8 assists, maybe a steal. Pace relatively neutral against Oklahoma City, but much like this Houston team that I mentioned before, Oklahoma City walking wounded, missing pretty much all of the guys that should be considered starters. So this is a really nice spot for Terry Rozier. He doesn't have to worry about Lou Dort guarding him, for example. 7,400 for a guy that's going to play 36 starter minutes with 30% usage. It doesn't really get all that much better. Don't be afraid to grab a ton of Terry Rozier today. There's not a ton of value out there yet, but even if that shows up, $7,400 Terry Rozier is going nowhere on this list. Now at number 2, we go to basically the only value play today, so far at least. Shooting guard eligible MYKHAILIUK, 3,800 still. 24 fantasy point projection. The goal is 35. He's in the optimal lineup 34% of the time. He's really the only sub 4K guy that exists as a value option to date. So far. To date is not right because it's going to happen later today. It's going to be the same date. Ignore me. I'm giving Svi 30 minutes. Now, he is not a high-end fantasy performer. We're talking about 0.8 fantasy points per minute here. Neutral usage, 20%. 13 points. We're talking 3.5 boards, 3 assists. He is pretty adept at grabbing steals, and that helped him out as a value play on Monday. I'm hoping it happens again. Pace neutral spot against Charlotte, but Oklahoma City is so thin that really what you're trying to do is buy minutes. And this is the cheapest way to buy minutes on the FanDuel slate today. Now, before we get to that number 1 contender, one last reminder to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. head on over to Twitter, which I'm not going to flub now, and follow me at Josh Engleman. That way you can get the updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section who's your favorite and your least favorite of my contenders. And because I'm interested in what you guys like, if you have a contender that isn't on my list, let me know. I want to know what I'm missing out on. And finally, the number one contender for today's slate, small forward eligible, $7,700 JAYLEN Brown, projected for 42. The goal is 49, and he is in the optimal lineup 34% of the time. 1, I like filling the small forward spot in this way. 2, no Kemba Walker, going to be out on this back-to-back, and no Evan Fournier out for health and safety protocols. So we see big rate bumps here. 36 minutes for JAYLEN Brown, 1.18 fantasy points per minute, 33% usage, so 27 points, 5.5 boards, 4 assists, 2 stocks. Now it is a massive, massive pace down spot against the New York Knicks, but that is more than offset by the huge usage bump that JAYLEN Brown gets having no Kemba Walker out there and obviously no Evan Fournier out on the floor. This is JAYLEN Brown's show and it's Jason Tatum's show, and that's why you see both of those guys showing up in the top 10. But because of price tags, JAYLEN Brown is the number one contender for today's slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Wednesday, April 7th. I am on the strategy show with Lofty. Check that out. Process show is in the books. Go watch that. DK version of this video, somewhere around here. And then I am on live before lock tonight with Greg Ehrenberg. You can't get rid of me. It's Wednesday. I'm on everything we do from the NBA. So good luck tonight, everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of the Contenders.